Good morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you are well. It is Monday, the 2nd of June, 2025. What kind of movement builds its future on loyalty to a party and not to a nation? What kind of revolution tells its people not to use every tool at their disposal? And what kind of freedom struggle narrows its path so tightly that strategy feels like disloyalty? These aren't rhetorical questions. These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. Because right now, too many in our movement feel afraid to think strategically, afraid to speak honestly, afraid to question a tactic that is to betray a party. But I don't believe that's what being part of a movement is. I'm a loyal SNP member. I believe in what we've achieved together. I believe in the party's legacy of delivering for Scotland. But I also believe in something even bigger: Scotland's right to be free. Being SNP has always meant being part of the independence movement. It was never supposed to mean being limited by it. That is why this moment demands that we all think beyond the tribal and then to start thinking like a movement again. I joined the SNP because I believe in the cause of independence. Like many others, I saw a party that stood up for Scotland, that protected our values and refused to be cowed by Westminster. I believe in what the SNP has done for our nation, from free tuition and prescriptions to shielding Scots from the worst of UK austerity. I believe in the people who have led the SNP and served through challenge after challenge. But above all that, I believe in the movement, the cause, the destination. That's what unites all of us, whether we wear a party badge or not. The SNP is not a political brand to be defended at all costs. It's a tool, a powerful tool, forged for a national purpose. If that purpose ever fades, if it ever becomes more about the party than the people, then we have lost already. Loyalty to the party should never mean being afraid to think differently, ask questions, or evolve our strategy. We owe the movement more than that. We also need to be honest about the difference between governance and liberation. The SNP has shown what responsible, compassionate government looks like. Scotland's devolved government has protected the vulnerable, invested in people and governed with integrity while being deliberately constrained by Westminster. That matters. It proves our capability. It proves we can stand on our own 2 feet. But independence isn't a reward for good governance. It's not something we get handed for being responsible. It's something that we fight for every day with every tool in the box. Devolution has shown us what we can do, but we didn't join this movement to manage powers handed down to us. We joined it to take back what is ours. Competent governance should never stop, but it must work alongside an aggressive, creative fight for full sovereignty. That brings us to Holyrood 2026 and the way that we use our votes. Of course, we must fight to secure an SNP majority in the constituency vote. The SNP are best placed to lead the government. That's not even a question that needs to be answered. But let's talk honestly about the second vote, because that vote is not a spare vote. It's not a throwaway vote. It's a weapon. And it's time we started treating it like one. We now have more than one pro-independence party. The political landscape in Scotland has changed. It's no longer just about one vehicle. It's about the destination. So why not build a Holyrood where both government and the opposition are pro-independence? Why not make our parliament a place where the very premise of self-determination is no longer up for debate? It's only how we deliver it. This isn't about rejecting SNP 1 and 2. It's about understanding that the second vote gives us the chance to multiply the strength of the movement, to bring in voices who can challenge, innovate, and apply pressure where it's needed most, not as enemies, but as allies that just fly a different flag. We used to have one tool. Now we have many. Why wouldn't we use them all? Beyond the ballot box, the fight continues in other arenas, and those deserve attention too. Liberation Scotland is taking Scotland's case to the United Nations, arguing that we are a nation denied our right to self-determination. It is a legal, diplomatic and moral front in the same war. It demands support, and not just applause, but financial and activist backing. Alongside them is Mike Fenwick's Sovereign Scot initiative. It gathers the names of Scots who assert their sovereign identity. The grassroots effort strengthens the legal case Liberation Scotland is making, and every person who signs Mike Fenwick's Declaration of a Sovereign Scot adds weight to that case and more. These are not distractions. These are not fringe projects. These are other fronts in the same battle for freedom. They exist not instead of the SNP, but alongside it. And if we fail to support them, we're leaving weapons on the ground. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because the greatest threat to our movement is not Westminster. It's ourselves. We spend more time fighting each other than fighting the system that holds us down. We argue about personality, tactics, and tribes. We compete instead of coordinate. The independence movement has become a hall of mirrors, everyone convinced they see the truth more clearly than the next person. And while we fight about who is right, Westminster continues to rob Scotland of its rights, resources, and its future. A good example of this is the SSRG event. Not one MSP showed up. That hurt. It raised eyebrows. It deflated hope in some quarters, and it angered people in others. But instead of doubling down on anger or feeding frustration, let's just say this. The work continues. The cause doesn't die because a room didn't have MSPs in it. It lives in the work. It lives in the action. We must stop giving energy to who isn't in the room and start focusing on what we do with the people who are. Unity doesn't mean agreement. It means direction. It means trust. It means discipline. Let's say this plainly. We don't need to like each other. We don't need to agree on every single step, but we do need to start walking in the same direction. We don't need politicians to tell us how to vote. We don't need to mock others for making different choices. We don't need to waste time pointing fingers over empty seats or missed opportunities. Because right now, none of that matters more than what is actually at stake. If we don't fix this, if we don't unite across party lines, personal rivalries and tactical differences, then we're not just failing ourselves. We're handing this fight over to our children. They will inherit it, and it will not be a noble, unified struggle that we pass on. It'll be a fractured dream, a broken cause, a movement with no map and too many captains. Our children will inherit the cause, and they'll inherit it weakened, not strengthened. They'll inherit a movement where division delayed destiny, where ego overruled nation, where we had the numbers, the tools, the passion, and still couldn't pull it all together. I really don't want that. Do you?
You're tearing down the walls we built, brick by brick they fall. Your words become the chains that bind, dividing us all. Can't you see your actions serve the very ones we fight? By fueling fires of discord, you extinguish our light. I refuse to let my children bear a fractured, broken dream, while the British state deceives us, pulling apart our seam. I won't engage in petty spats that mock our quest for right. Our unity's the weapon that will lead us to the fight. Your venom poisons progress, turns our lives into foes. Each insult digs a deeper trench where understanding goes. You're dancing to their melody, a puppet on their strings, while they erode our culture and steal our precious things. I refuse to let my children bear a fractured, broken dream, while the British state deceives us, pulling apart our seam. I won't engage in petty spats that mock our quest for right. Our unity's the weapon that will lead us to the fight. Look beyond your grievances, see the larger scope. Our strength lies in our numbers, in solidarity and hope. Set aside your differences, let go of selfish pride. Together we'll achieve the dream for which our martyrs died. I refuse to let my children bear a fractured, broken dream, while the British state deceives us, pulling apart our seam. I won't engage in petty spats that mock our quest for right. Our unity's the weapon that will lead us to the fight. No more we be pawns in their manipulative game. We'll stand as one, undivided in purpose and in name. The future of our nation rests upon our unified stand. Together we'll reclaim our rights, together we'll demand. I refuse to let my children bear a fractured, broken dream, while the British state deceives us, pulling apart our seam. I won't engage in petty spats that mock our quest for right. Our unity's the way.